if you would mind taking your seats. So, because our performers are going to give us another wonderful treat this morning, and we just want to make sure that everybody is seated. So can I ask you to please take your seats, and we're going to begin in just a moment. Can you close the door at the back as well? I think that might be good. Okay, everybody. So welcome back to day 2 of the Interreg Med Made in Med event, Crafting the Future Mediterranean. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Karen Coleman. I'm a journalist and broadcaster from Ireland, and it's my pleasure to be the moderator of today's event as well. So, yesterday, we opened with a very dynamic performance from 3 artists, and we are again going to be treated to a very wonderful interactive performance for them. So again, a reminder, this particular performance reflects the Mediterranean social and creative community, which is one of the 8 communities that is part of the Interreg Med program. It's a performance that joins 2 projects together. It's called Red Thread, and it's a collaboration involving 3 artists. It had its genesis in Palermo, and it's about a new appreciation for what we're wearing. So can I now welcome on stage Sasa Nemec, who's going to perform Repair-a-thon, Claudio di Gangi, who will perform Red Dress, and Giuseppe Lomeo, who will perform the music. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was another fantastic performance. Thank you very much again to our three performers, to Sasa Nemec, to Claudio di Gangi, and Giuseppe Lomeo. Thank you very much. Okay, so if we can have the ground crew changing the stage. So, great, okay. So while the crew are changing the stage setup, I will go through a few housekeeping issues with you. And again, it's a pleasure to see so many of you back here this morning for day 2 of the Made in Med event. We have another busy day ahead for you, so we'll have a number of debates. Today's focus will be more on policies. Yesterday's we were looking at some of the issues to do with some of the thematic sessions. Now, just a few housekeeping issues. Again, translation will be available today in English on Channel 1 and French on Channel 2. For those of you who may like to have interpretation from French to English, maybe you'd like to get a headset, because we will certainly this morning have some of our participants speaking in French. So you can get your interpretation set outside the room. So we will have water fountains available outside the foyer as well, if you'd like some water through the morning. Again, a reminder of the Wi-Fi codes if you are only getting on them today. The network is Made in Med, and the password is Made 2018, and that's with a small m. We will be using Slido again for some of the sessions, maybe not as many, but it still is a really good, I think, for the Interreg people to get a sense of your views. So feel free to use Slido, and we'll try and take some of the questions during some of the actual Q&A sessions. There were some more questions about the sustainability of the bags and the pens that have been handed out to you. So I did say this yesterday, but I'll say it again, that they are all, I think, all the contents, including the bag, have been made in a sustainable way, even down to, I think, somebody said yesterday, I think the paper is chlorine-free, and the pens themselves, that although they may look like plastic, they've been made from recyclable material. So there you go. And again, a reminder of the Interreg Med programs. There are 8 communities of projects, 1,000 partners, 91 projects, and 176 million euro invested so far. Don't forget the exhibition area, and you can download the exhibition brochure. I have a copy of it here. It'll give you an indication of, I think all of the projects are in here. You can download it by using the QR scan. And you'll see more exhibitions again today in the exhibition space. The video area is in the Pedro Arrupe room, which is beyond the foyer. And also you can use the Twitter hashtag. Again today it's hashtag Made in Med. And the Interreg Med program itself is on Twitter. Its Twitter address is @medprogram. And also don't forget there is an open week until the end of May. A few partners have opened their doors to the public in order to explain and share some of their work. Okay, I think that sort of summarizes most of the housekeeping issues. So now we're going to hear from 3 people who are going to give their views. And as I said today, it's more really we're going to be looking at policies. So it's my pleasure now to welcome on stage our first speaker, Claudio de Vincenti, the Minister for Territorial Cohesiveness and Southern Italy. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for this occasion to exchange our opinions, to share our ideas, our programs, our strategies. I am very pleased and honored to host, on behalf of the Italian government, the midterm conference of the Interreg Med program in Rome. I was informed that yesterday, the first day of the conference, was very rich in contents, contributions, participation by countries, institutions, organizations, and partners within cooperation projects. And he represented an opportunity to highlight and share the first significant results so far attained. I therefore wish to congratulate the managing authority of the program, Ms. Taria Richard, and all of her staff on their successful work. Such moments of get-together, sharing, and visibility provide us with important opportunities to disclose the impacts played on relevant territories by our funded projects. Italy is, by virtue of its history, geographical location, and I would say vocation, fully rooted and involved in the dynamics that mark and impact the Mediterranean. And Italy is conscious of this strong link, so that Italian institutions representing both national and regional government levels contribute to the definition, implementation, development of programs and shared governance instruments. This is widely confirmed by the institutional relations our country is strengthening with the countries along southern Mediterranean shores, with the Balkan area, for instance, within the Berlin process, as well as with the EU countries overlooking the Mediterranean in the framework of Southern European countries summits. Furthermore, I take the chance to underline Italy's participation in 19 cooperation programs. Them of these programs are entrusted to Italian regions management and many of them involving countries, regions, and territories overlooking the Mediterranean. As such, the entire Mediterranean basin is clearly and quintessentially important to Italy. And it is one of the main priorities of the post-2020 programming, as specifically addressed by Italy's position paper transmitted to the European Commission last December. However, I wish to underline Italy knows it is not alone in the tortuous and challenging path to the identification and implementation of useful initiatives in terms of policies and strategies, as well as concrete projects to promote virtuous dynamics for social and economic development. The consolidation of relations with the institutions which are present today in such a large way can put us in a position under the European Union umbrella to respond to paramount challenges, such as increasing migratory flows, climate change, common defense, and the need to pursue innovation processes. In this regard, I wish like to express my sincere appreciation for the efforts accomplished by the Interreg Med program in developing shared governance tools to support the policy priorities and capacity building of the institutions involved. My most sincere invitation is now to aim to a post-2020 time horizon in order to ensure support with every available means for Mediterranean cooperation programs to be confirmed and strengthened. I am convinced it is necessary to strongly defend the Mediterranean's strategic role for the whole of the European Union, because triggering, strengthening, and consolidating the dynamics and development processes in this area inevitably brings benefits for the whole European Union and can contribute to lay the foundations for a future enabling us to adequately respond to the mentioned challenges. I therefore wish to address, first of all, to Agnès Rampal and Patrizio Bianchi, who share with me the opening of this second day. Together, we can confirm and strengthen our common vision around three relevant messages. The first, the territorial cooperation objective must be confirmed in its three dimensions, cross-border, transnational, and interregional, as an integral part of cohesion policy. Second, special attention must be paid to the Mediterranean area, which is of key relevance of Europeans' political stances on global challenges. And third, current and future macro-regional strategies in the Mediterranean must be based on a regulatory framework that explicitly links strategies, priorities, national and regional programming, cohesion programs, and financial instruments. I wish you all good work. I will carefully follow the outcomes of these 2 days of conference, and thank you very much for your presence and your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister. So now I'd like to invite on stage Agnès Rampal, Conseillère Régionale, Présidente de la Commission Euro-Méditerranée, Région Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur.
Je fais monter toute l'équipe de l'autorité de gestion qui travaille avec moi. Venez.
Oh, okay. So we will be joined by 2 more people. Thank you.
Yeah.
The whole team. Okay,
whole
very
team.
good. Thank you.
Of the programme Euromed, absolument.
Yeah.
The team.
Okay. Do you want to take your seats?
Montez, montez.
Oh, I see. Oh, you mean the whole team. Oh, I see. Okay, very good. Okay.
Je pense qu'on peut les applaudir. Merci.
You can come out in front. Do you want to come out in front? Great. Okay. I think there's a photo opportunity there.
Monsieur le ministre de la Cohésion territoriale et Mezzogiorno, cher Claudio De Vincenti, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants de la Commission européenne, chers partenaires, Mesdames et Messieurs, je vous remercie d'avoir répondu aussi nombreux à l'invitation de la région Sud, Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur pour participer à cet événement à mi-parcours du programme MED dans cette belle capitale de Rome. J'adresse également l'expression de ma gratitude à Monsieur le ministre. Sa présence atteste de l'importance accordée par l'Italie aux enjeux de sa présidence du comité de suivi pour l'année 2018. Je remercie bien évidemment la présidence du Conseil italien pour la qualité de son accueil et pour les moyens mis à disposition pour la réussite de cette manifestation. La région Sud, Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, attache, comme vous le savez, une grande importance à ce programme dont nous assumons la responsabilité en qualité d'autorité de gestion depuis 2007. Et j'ai fait monter sur la scène avec moi toute l'équipe autour de notre directeur général adjoint Raphaël de Julie Morgan, autour de Taria Richard et de Curcio Cervelli, qui animent avec passion ce programme depuis toutes ces années. Le programme MED couvre des secteurs clés du développement durable qui sont au cœur des priorités de notre président Renaud Muselier, et je veux citer à ce titre l'innovation, la lutte contre le changement climatique, l'économie bleue, le développement des énergies à faible émission carbonée, la protection de l'environnement et bien sûr la croissance inclusive en Méditerranée. Le programme MED est donc un atout considérable pour relever les défis auxquels la Méditerranée doit faire face, et nous sommes donc tous, et vous avez vu notre équipe, très engagés pour animer ce programme. Au cours des 10 dernières années, ce programme a réussi à financer 240 projets qui représentent quelques 2000 organismes partenaires, institutionnels, privés, publics, qui proviennent essentiellement, bien sûr, c'est la géographie du programme, de la rive nord de la Méditerranée. Le succès de ce programme est incontestable. Sa réussite peut être la plus importante et sans doute d'avoir créé de véritables synergies entre tous les acteurs qui travaillent sur la Méditerranée. Je tiens donc à tous vous remercier parce qu'avec vous, il ressort un enseignement formidable, c'est que les défis qui nous mobilisent deviennent, grâce à ce travail partenarial, une véritable opportunité de co-développement économique, technologique, social et de coopération entre nous tous. Il en résulte un nouveau modèle de développement qui voit le jour, un modèle qui respecte la nature, qui protège notre Mare Nostrum, qui œuvre pour vivre dans un monde durable que nous pourrons transmettre à nos enfants. Loin des longs discours, le programme MED a choisi de partir du réel, de faire du concret. Il s'inscrit ainsi dans la philosophie d'un des pères fondateurs de l'Europe, Robert Schuman, qui affirmait « L'Europe ne se fera pas d'un coup, elle se fera par des réalisations concrètes, créant d'abord une solidarité de fait ». Chaque projet concret financé par notre programme va donc au-delà de son strict objet et il contribue à la construction de notre zone méditerranéenne. Cela nous permettra de parler d'une seule voix à la Commission européenne afin d'être mieux entendus et reconnus dans nos spécificités. C'est ainsi que le programme MED crée aujourd'hui les conditions d'une solidarité de fait entre les différents pays de la Méditerranée. Les défis que nous devons relever, et notamment ceux des crises migratoires et humanitaires, trouveront donc les réponses adaptées grâce à la coopération active entre les différents pays méditerranéens et européens. Si nous sommes tous d'accord sur ce constat, il nous reste encore un pas à franchir, celui de nous entendre sur les modalités d'une gouvernance commune et partagée en Méditerranée. À nouveau, le programme MED nous montre le chemin, car l'un de ses principaux succès est d'avoir volontairement fait de la gouvernance une priorité en donnant notamment naissance à Panoramed, plateforme nécessaire à la coordination de nos projets. Panoramed ajoute une dimension qui était absente des autres programmes. Elle permet de réaliser la synthèse et sans doute, nous l'espérons, de faire émerger de nouvelles normes spécifiques à la Méditerranée que l'Union européenne pourra prendre en compte. Car intuitivement, nous sentons tous que certaines normes ne peuvent être les mêmes que l'on soit au nord de l'Europe, près du cercle polaire, ou sur le littoral de la Méditerranée, ici par exemple. À ce titre, Panoramed pourra faire entendre notre voix, qui pourra se décliner dans les programmes de l'après-2020. Je peux vous assurer que notre président Renaud Muselier, également député européen, saura faire remonter nos demandes. Nous sommes bien sûr très satisfaits que la Commission mette en place des cadres de gouvernance qui dépassent les frontières des États. Mais dans le cas de notre Méditerranée, si petite à l'échelle du globe, 1% des eaux, de la surface des océans, il serait peut-être inopportun, sûrement inopportun, d'adopter une politique de mini-bassin. Nous serons bien sûr très attentifs à la place qui sera réservée à la politique régionale dans le futur budget européen et bien sûr à son volet dédié à la coopération territoriale en Méditerranée. Je souhaite que le succès de cet événement qui nous réunit aujourd'hui permette de lancer un véritable agenda positif pour la Méditerranée. Pour conclure, dans ce lieu majestueux de la capitale éternelle italienne, je rappellerai les mots d'un pape visionnaire que fut Jean-Paul II. L'Europe doit respirer avec ses deux poumons, celui de l'Est et celui de l'Ouest. Aujourd'hui, c'est chose faite. Et vous êtes là, de toute la rive nord de la Méditerranée, du plus à l'Est au plus à l'Ouest, pour en attester. Une nouvelle nécessité se fait jour. Travailler tous ensemble, rive nord et rive sud, pour construire l'avenir de la Méditerranée. Car les défis que nous avons à relever intéressent et concernent tout le pourtour méditerranéen. Je suis sûre, j'espère, que les futurs programmes européens nous le permettront. Merci à vous tous.
Thank you very much, Madame Rampal. Thank you so much for that. And the good work the team has been doing, and I've been working with several members of the team in the run-up to the event as well. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes in organising these events, and they've done a very good job in pulling all the pieces together. Okay, so now we come to our first discussion of the day. So yesterday we looked at 3 thematic sessions around climate change, the blue economy, and also inclusive growth. So today really is really looking at some of the challenges and the opportunities around those 3 thematic sessions, some of the issues that were raised yesterday. So we're going to look at today how we can transfer those issues that were raised into policies that will address both the challenges and the opportunities within a policy framework. So we're going to start that process now with our first discussion. And we have 3 people who represent horizontal projects and 2 people who represent Panoramad. And let me just explain very briefly for clarification purposes what we mean by horizontal projects, first of all. So we mean the 8 different thematic transnational communities that act as an umbrella that covers a range of projects. So, for example, one of those horizontal projects we heard a lot about yesterday was sustainable tourism. And the Interreg Med Sustainable Tourism Community within it has 17 projects. So if you think the horizontal projects are 8 umbrellas over a number of different projects underneath them. And then we have Panoramad, which is the overall umbrella governance structure that works at a policy level. So you've Panoramad, overall governance level. You have the horizontal projects that have the 8 themes, and then underneath them, the actual projects on the ground. So we're going to look at now some of the issues that would affect both the horizontal projects and, of course, Panoramad. So let me invite our panelists who are participating in this discussion. Mislav Kovac, the Head of Service for Transnational and Interregional Cooperation at the Ministry of Regional Development and EU Funds. Claude Wohrer, Special Advisor on Integrated Maritime Policy, Secretariat General for the Sea. You can come up on stage as I call your names, thank you. And you can take the nearest seat as I call you, thank you. Sergio Ponsa, the Director of Beta Technology Center and Coordinator of Beta Research Group. Dania Abdul Malak, who was also on stage yesterday, Director of the ETCUMA and Senior Environmental Researcher. And finally, Roberto Grassi, Project Manager with Arco Latino. You're all very welcome. I think maybe if you can pull over one of those tables there, because you'll be sharing the mic. So if you can maybe, well, if we bring that one over there, yeah. So maybe the 3 of you, if you can share that mic. And then if we bring that table over there and pour yourselves some water if you want it, because always on stage, I'm terrified always of being left without water because the stage can get very dry and throats, or it can be so hot, throats can get dry. So I have a number of questions for you, which are relevant for each one of you, I suppose. But also, we may take some Slido questions as well. This session will go on for about 40 minutes or so. Again, please feel free to go on to the Slido app, and if there are relevant questions, we'll put them to our panelists as well. So you're all very welcome. Let's see now. Sergio Ponsa, maybe a question for you first. You're Director of Beta Technology Center with the University of Vic Central University of Catalonia. So how do you think horizontal projects can develop more work on the ground within the EU territories?
Well, good morning to everyone, and thank you for the question. So, well, in first stage, I think that all the actors that are involved in the Interreg Med, also in the horizontals and in the modulars, we are all aiming the same. We are aiming to sustainable development of our regions, of the sustainable development of the Med countries, but also sustainable development of Europe. So yesterday it was mentioned in the panel discussion and the presentations the importance and relevance of the French-German axis, or Franco-German axis, and that's true. But it was also mentioned of the potential of the Interreg Med, of the Med countries. And why not, we can also include here the countries of the Mediterranean that are in the south or in the east shores, as it was also mentioned yesterday. So we do believe in that potential, and we think that if we put together all the efforts and all the previous work and all the capacities on the table, we'll be able to be relevant in Europe. And aiming to that, so I think that we all have the same objective, to take all the knowledge, all the results, all the capacities, all the efforts, but also all the passion that we are devoting to this process to be useful for our regions and our countries, and to have a real impact on society. To do that, in fact, by now, so we have already, the modular projects and horizontal projects has already done a lot of efforts, a lot of work to achieve that by developing common tools, by defining common events, common discussion forums. A lot of common initiatives has been developed, a lot of efforts has been done already, and it's impressive what we have achieved by now. And in this sense, I would also like to mention that the Interreg Med is innovative, has an innovative architecture. And within this innovative architecture, I will define the role of the horizontals as real innovators. We are constantly innovating, we are constantly being adapted to the requirements, to the challenges of the modulars, of the Joint Secretariat, now to the Panorama Med, but also to real challenges of our regions and stakeholders. Yesterday, there was also a good discussion about some examples of mitigation and adaptation to climate change. So I think that if you want to consider a good example of adaptive ecosystem, the horizontal projects are a very good example. So during this first period of the implementation of this work plan, the modular projects has had a very relevant role, because although the horizontals wanted to promote the capitalization and support capitalization, the real actors are the modulars. Without the modular, there is no results to be capitalized and to be transferred. And during this period, the modular project has understood, has acquired, and has well, efficiently and actively contributed to this process of defining this new strategy of capitalization of the results at highest levels. That's true that we have a lot of modulars in our communities, and they have contributed at different speeds, but also different intensity. And it's a shared responsibility between the modulars and the horizontals. And the real role of the horizontals is supporting the modulars, accompanying the modulars to really achieve a sound mobilization of all the actors involved at regional level to have a MET impact, a real MET impact, and to share the real results. I would like also to share my feelings, because after 1.5 years of being responsible of a community, it was very challenging at the beginning, and my real feelings now are that we are beyond expectations. So we have achieved extremely successful results. We have created cohesive communities, we have involved all the actors, we have created synergies, not just between the modular projects of our communities, but also among the communities themselves and among the modulars of different communities.
Can I just stop you there then? For people who may not be aware of some of the projects you're involved in, tell us what you've been doing.
Sorry?
What have you been doing with your projects?
Yeah, so we have perfectly identified the kind of synergies that we could enhance and promote between the capacities of our modulars, of the parts of the modulars, and how summing and gathering the results of different modulars, we could have a more important impact. And not just with our modulars, but also with the modulars of other communities. And it's this mapping of capacities, but mapping also of actors, stakeholders, and the joining of efforts has definitely been the key factor, the key issue.
Do you have a particular project that you can point to just illustrate, to enable people to
for
understand?
Example, we have had, for example, a capitalization project that is in our community. If you allow me to put specific samples, we have had a capitalization project that is the Madre, that is about urban agriculture. So you can visit also our corner. You will see real examples there, and it has been extremely useful for us to know what their expectations were, what the results are, because we have other projects in our community that are totally complementary. They are working with kilometer zero markets, so they have real synergies. And to put them working together, what we have created is another level of results that can directly and really have an impact at policy level by joining efforts and joining results. And we have other examples about energy and that are considering our community and other community. So it's clear examples also about how the results of one modular, gathering the results and the inputs of other modulars can really produce much more relevant policy information or the impact, other kind of results reaching the society.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I move to you, Dania, Abdul, Malak? You're the director of the European Topic Centre at the University of Malaga, lead partner with the biodiversity community, horizontal project Panacea, I think is the name of it. So we know there are 8 communities, they're called, within the horizontal projects. So from your experience, how do you see the horizontal projects, the system, enabling people who are carrying out some of those projects to operate better?
Yes, so thank you for that. Yeah, exactly. So horizontal project, maybe it sounds a bit for the outside Interreg a bit, not so clear. So these types of projects, I think it's a new categorization of vehicles, I guess, that would, I would say, streamline the efforts done by the communities that are developing evidence. In that case, in our case, it's around biodiversity protection, to lead into evidence-based policies. So, and I think that the vehicle that these horizontal projects are, it's really to upscale results, to put important best practices in line with policy needs, with management needs. In terms of the evidence, we think that in our case we have 11 projects ongoing, all of them focusing on different purposes to reduce pressures on the Mediterranean Sea, to increase resilience of marine and coastal ecosystems. So all of this information needs to be streamlined in products, I would say, that would fit the gaps that are in management efforts and policy needs. So this is, I think, the type of interlocutor I would see these projects doing. So it's really taking evidence and putting it in products that are coherent with the gaps that are present in the policies. That's, I would call one, I think, interlocutor that you mentioned. Then, in terms of upscaling the results, I think the need to focus the results in a way that are a direct input for Axis 4 type of projects, which is Panoramed. I think it's very important in terms of upscaling best practices into national and transnational, hopefully, needs, in a way that the part of the results, as we are showing after 1.5 years, as Sergio, you mentioned, are perfectly transferable. They could be taken from one place and other, they have been tested. So I think, again, this type of project that's called horizontal project can do this support, that can provide practices that are in one place and put it in, I would say, in the service of other countries or transboundary efforts as well. So I think in that case, it's really relevant in that sense as well. Whenever it comes to the interlocutor, such as the program itself, the Interreg-Med program, I think the angle that the Interreg-Med has is across, I would say, scales, right? So it talks to the member states of the Med space, I would say, but it also, within the Interreg-Med, it talks to other Interregs. So I think that taking the products that the horizontal projects are providing would upscale it into different dimensions as well and make these, I would say, this exchange between the best practices even exemplified, no? Amplified into a wider territorial policy. So, so I think this is also another dimension that we could be supporting, I hope, with the recommendations that we are providing throughout the lifetime of the project.
Okay. Sometimes it's good to, you know, to illustrate a project with an example. Mm-hmm. So 1.5 years really is what we're talking about, is it, in terms of projects underway?
Yes.
Yeah. So your one, the Panacea, is that how you, so can you tell us a little bit more about that particular project then?
So about our project,
yes.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so mainly, if you want to go a bit in the details, so we took some time to understand what type of projects we have, what type of the nature of the, I would say, the results these projects are contributing to provide, and we framed them in 3 broad working areas. In our case, it's about biodiversity management as one, I would say, working group. We call them working group because we want them to be continuous in time throughout the lifetime of the project. So this working group is focusing on some aspects that part of the community is providing evidence for. So this is like one stream of evidence that we are trying to upscale into some products such as policy recommendations, but also technical papers and best practices to be placed where it is needed under, for example, protected area managers' needs. So that's the management angle of this working group, but also in policy gaps. For example, in our case, we think that part of the activities of this working group would be very relevant for some technical working groups for the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, for example, some descriptors on the marine litter. So this is a little bit going into details of how we would be really upscaling results to fill certain gaps. That's one working group. I could expand more.
And then what you would hope is you can transfer that knowledge, that intelligence, those skill sets to other areas then as well.
To other areas?
Yes, can you transfer that transnationally and develop it further?
Of course. I mean, the idea is to go to regional policies, so which is broader. I mean, of course, through the Access 4, through Panoramed, it's to provide this support to member states, but through the working groups that we are developing at transnational level, it's really to try to provide support to regional policies, so European policies or Mediterranean conventions and policies as well, yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Roberto Grassi, my question for you is, how do you think Panoramed can help the horizontal projects?
Thank you, that's a good question. I think partially Dania, both Dania and Sergio already gave some hints to that. They partially answered to this question. Of course, the answer is yes, at least from my side. I see there are many potentials. It is worth to say, before getting into details, that Panoramed itself, it's a project. And it is included, as all of us, in this new architecture, including modular projects, horizontal projects. And this new architecture is new for everybody, so it takes time to understand, it takes time to get into the track. Innovation can include also delays, misunderstanding, mistakes, but I think that after an initial period of understanding, we can go very well together. Having this in mind, we can say that Panoramed can be very useful, especially for the capitalization activities, as it was mentioned before. Capitalization for us is intended the capacity for us as communities to have the capacity to impact, or at least to try to impact the policies at national level, at regional level, or at a higher level as well, based on the result of our projects. And in this flow of information, Panoramed can be a key actor because they can support us in opening doors. They can indicate to us who are the key people to talk to in the ministries or at the regional level. Or also, for example, using the networks that are in their partnerships, such as UFM, we can also transfer the good practices of our projects to the south shore of the Mediterranean as well. So it is very important, the role of Panoramed. I think, in my opinion, we must stress the communication among us and use the specific, let's say, role of the country coordinators. Panoramed has country coordinators in each country, and these are the key people for us. So it is very important to stress and to organize a communication among us, both Panoramed and horizontal projects.
Did you call them, what did you say, they're council coordinators?
Country coordinators.
Country coordinators, yes. Okay. So
yes.
each one, so to get more collaboration, communication
exactly.
with them.
Exactly. Just to make an example, starting from what we said yesterday on Blue Growth, for example, in the Blue Growth, one of the sectors is tourism. In tourism, the European Union does not have a unique legislation. It allows the member states to have its proper strategy. So each member state is tackling tourism in its proper way. So for us, it is important to talk to Panoramed and have the view of what is happening, who are the key people in each country and in each member state.
Okay, thank you for that. If I can go to you, Mislav Kovacs. So you're head of service for transnational and interregional cooperation with the Ministry of Regional Development and EU funds in Croatia. So how do you think then Panoramed can promote the information about the different thematic communities, both I suppose internally and externally?
Thank you very much for the question. Good morning to everybody. Roberto took half of my question already. For the communication in general, of course, it's always challenging. It is always challenging to communicate the results of your work and to explain to the people who are not working with what are you doing, and especially if you want to cooperate with them, try to find common language. Let's say we have a very good framework within the MED program, and it provides us good basis for the communication internally and externally. But what makes me happy, because I can see from the colleagues from Horizontal Project and also from my colleagues from Panoramed that we are very much eager to transfer the results of our work among ourselves, and not to use only, let's say, convenient way of communication and this established framework. Like Roberto already said, right now I'm in dual role, let's say, so I can speak as a work package leader and also as a country coordinator. As a work package leader, for us, the important thing is that we, let's say, try to have a clear picture of what the communities are doing, what are their results, what are their outputs, and that we, through our working group, we can help them to capitalize their results, and of course bring them into the, let's say, higher sphere of governance, because the Panoramed is the governance project. So this is the most important thing for us, and of course we want to share the results of our work, and let's say this higher level of capitalization of results put on the ground, and try to help the local and regional authorities in their work. As a country coordinator, my second role, for me it's the most important thing to, let's say, map the stakeholders from my country, so that they can, let's say, help me in our national thematic working groups for the quality of the inputs that we need to transfer into the Panoramed. So, for example, we have a lot of stakeholders. They are part of the communities. They are part of the modular project, and we want to, as much as we can, of course, not all of them, but include in our work. This also is related to the, let's say, external communication, because in this our thematic working group on the national level, we also try to map the key stakeholders or the stakeholders on the governance level. For example, in Croatia, we have, I'm speaking for tourism, we have the pillar coordinator for the EU-SIRE strategy. We also have the Paprak Regional Center in Split. So in this, let's say, group on the national level, we mixed the local and regional authorities and the people who are dealing with the governance in the Mediterranean, in the Mediterranean on the higher level. So I think it's a good combination, you know, to transfer in other way, in both directions, the messages and the results. Also, for the external communication, for us, it's the most important to explain to the relevant actors and to the relevant initiatives in the MED program what we are doing and what we would like to achieve with Panoramed and with our thematic working groups. Can I just,
if we can have the mic, just on that point, how do you do that then? How are you going to do that? How are you doing that? Because we heard yesterday, communications of these projects is a huge challenge, and there are lots of EU initiatives that are very difficult to communicate. So how do you think, what's the best way to explain, to get the message out? Mike, yeah, here, it's on.
Okay, thank you. First of all, we sit with them on the same table and try to explain what we are doing, because then they can see in which way they can help us, in which way they can embed their results and their work with our work, and in which way we can work together. It is, of course, not always easy, because there are a lot of different actors, there are a lot of different initiatives, but we know and we are aware what we are trying to achieve. We have a clear path, and we want to, let's say, in this way, streamline the work of the other initiatives and their contribution to our work in this way, because we have established thematic working groups. These are the experts groups, in which are, of course, everybody who can contribute invited, and in this way we can cooperate with, of course, our colleagues in horizontal project and and the different initiatives and the external actors who are not part of the MED program.
Okay, maybe we'll drill down a little bit more if we have time on ways to communicate what you're doing and the opportunities, obviously, as well. But if I can go finally to you, Claudio Wohrer, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. How do you think, from what you heard yesterday and from some of the conclusions that were drawn at the end of day one, talk about the opportunities and the challenges from projects, how do you think that's going to inform the launch for calls for proposals at the end of 2018?
Oui, bonjour à tous, et je vais faire mon intervention en français, donc d'abord, je remercie les traducteurs de faire ce travail, et je vois que beaucoup de personnes parlent français parce qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de headphones sur la tête, donc j'espère que vous pouvez tous me comprendre. Donc pour répondre à votre question, si vous le voulez bien, je vais le faire en deux parties, parce qu'il y a bien eu deux parties hier. il y a eu ces premiers discours d'ouverture qui ont vraiment bien posé le cadre de nos travaux, à la fois le cadre d'Interreg et puis le contexte plus général du bassin méditerranéen. Et puis ensuite, il y a eu les tables rondes thématiques où nous avons pu refléter les travaux des différents projets horizontaux. Donc ces deux approches et ces deux parties, ça va être nécessaire pour nous de les reprendre et de bien les intégrer lorsque nous en serons à définir au sein de Panoramed des projets stratégiques. On ne peut pas faire l'un sans l'autre et on ne peut pas les oublier. Alors j'ai noté un certain nombre de mots-clés dans les discours d'ouverture hier. Et contrairement à mon président de la République qui peut faire des discours de 2 heures sans papier, aussi bien au Parlement européen que face à des journalistes, moi j'ai besoin d'un papier pour retrouver un certain nombre de mots-clés qui ont été... qui m'ont marqué dans l'ouverture. Il y a eu cette notion de prendre en compte le budget post-2020 dont on a encore parlé ce matin, l'importance de réinventer l'architecture des programmes Interreg. On a rappelé la multitude des projets, on a rappelé la difficulté de la fragmentation, voire de la duplication, la nécessité de la concentration thématique et la simplification. Tout ça, ce sont des éléments que nous prendrons forcément en compte lorsque nous définirons des projets stratégiques au sein de Panoramed. C'est dans ce sens-là où la gouvernance prend tout son sens. Il y a eu aussi une ouverture très intéressante et je remercie le professeur Abdelhamed El Saïri, et je suis de Slovénie, pour la façon dont il a bien posé le cadre général du bassin méditerranéen, la coopération qui est indispensable et nécessaire avec les pays du Sud, tout en rappelant la difficulté qu'il y a à mener à bien cette coopération, tout en rappelant aussi la nécessité pour les pays européens de perdre un peu de leur superbe et de savoir intégrer la coopération nord-sud avec toutes les composantes que cela implique, toute la diplomatie et toute la compréhension mutuelle que nous devons avoir avec les pays du Sud. Mais lorsque je reviens maintenant à Panoramed et au programme Interreg, je pense aussi que nous devons, et c'est je crois un message important, même si il peut paraître étonnant sur cette estrade, mais je pense qu'il faut que nous restions humbles. C'est-à-dire qu'à la fois, Panoramed doit avoir le point de vue de Sirius, on doit s'élever, on doit avoir une bonne idée d'une nouvelle gouvernance, mais il faut prendre de la hauteur sans se brûler les ailes. Nous ne sommes pas Icare, donc il faut vraiment faire attention. Nous n'allons pas révolutionner la gouvernance du bassin méditerranéen à travers le projet Panoramed. Je crois que c'est important de le garder en tête, et malgré tout l'enthousiasme que j'ai entendu ce matin d'Agnès Rampal, et j'espère qu'elle ne va pas sortir d'ici en téléphonant à mon secrétaire général en critiquant ce que je viens de dire, mais malgré tout l'enthousiasme que j'ai entendu ce matin, attention, Panoramed, et ça a été rappelé, c'est un projet. Donc c'est un projet Interreg, on va faire de notre mieux. La gouvernance méditerranéenne est tellement complexe que nous allons mettre une petite pierre, mais on va commencer par là. La révolution d'une gouvernance, c'est beaucoup d'éléments qui vont permettre de la déclencher. Nous sommes un parmi d'autres. Et comme il a été dit aussi ce matin, la synergie est nécessaire, la synergie avec de nombreuses initiatives qui ont lieu dans le bassin méditerranéen. Et dans le bassin méditerranéen, ces synergies foisonnent. Et c'est déjà très compliqué de comprendre tout ce qui existe déjà pour bien les prendre en compte, nous, dans Panoramed. Donc pour venir après, maintenant, dans la deuxième partie de la journée d'hier, et en particulier sur les tables rondes thématiques, bien évidemment, ces tables rondes thématiques sont fondamentales pour nous et vont nourrir nos réflexions. Il y a eu beaucoup de choses qui ont été dites sur la croissance bleue. Je ne reprends pas la discussion qui a eu lieu entre croissance bleue et économie bleue. Pour la France, c'est une notion qui est très importante et j'ai été très intéressée de voir pourquoi pour les pays du Sud on préférait parler de croissance bleue, parce que pour eux la croissance est nécessairement ou doit être inclusive. Pour nous, on parle d'économie parce que l'économie bleue inclut toute la dimension sociale et aussi de développement durable. Donc ce sont des thématiques sur lesquelles régulièrement nous avons des échanges soutenus. On a parlé hier aussi de planification spatiale maritime et de la nécessité de faire cette planification spatiale avec les pays du Sud. Alors pour information, c'est déjà quelque chose que nous lançons dans le cadre de l'initiative WASMED avec la commission océanographique internationale de l'UNESCO, où nous aurons un début de planification spatiale avec les pays de la rive sud, mais en se rappelant toute la difficulté que ces thématiques impliquent au niveau, encore une fois, politique et souveraineté des nations que nous devons toujours garder en tête. Ensuite, on pourra parler de tout ce qui est échange de données, protection de données, c'était abordé hier. Ça fait partie aussi des problèmes qu'on rencontrera lorsque l'on lancera des projets stratégiques. Alors oui, l'apport des projets horizontaux, il est évident et il est réciproque. C'est-à-dire que je pense que nous pouvons aider les projets horizontaux à s'ouvrir sur le monde, même si la définition même de ces projets horizontaux, c'est l'ouverture. Donc on peut leur apporter peut-être une autre ouverture qui est plus liée à la problématique de la gouvernance. Mais quand je dis qu'elle est entièrement partagée, c'est des exemples très concrets que nous avons eus lorsque nous avons organisé notre groupe thématique il y a 2 jours ici à Rome. Notre groupe thématique, c'était sur la surveillance maritime. Nous avons demandé à un projet horizontal de venir participer à notre groupe parce que le projet Proteus est un projet dont la thématique est la surveillance maritime. Donc cet apport, pour nous, a été très important. Que pouvons-nous, nous, leur apporter? Encore une fois, un échange d'intervenants, un échange d'administrations compétentes et qui sont concernées par le sujet. La surveillance maritime n'a pas attendu Panoramed en Méditerranée pour s'organiser. Par contre, il est évident que Panoramed peut offrir quelque chose, que l'Interreg-Med peut offrir quelque chose. Et c'est là où c'est difficile pour nous de trouver qui apporte quoi à qui et comment on va structurer nos échanges. Peut-être aussi ce qui a été abordé par Mislav par rapport au groupe thématique dont il a la charge, qui est le tourisme maritime et côtier. On voit bien que nos 2 groupes thématiques sont totalement complémentaires et à la fois totalement opposés, c'est-à-dire que le tourisme est par essence un sujet de partage, alors que la surveillance maritime est par nature un sujet où même si on se fait confiance et on essaye de partager le maximum de données, le maximum d'informations, même au sein d'un État, donc prenons la France, comme ça c'est plus simple, je ne blesse personne, c'est toujours assez difficile de partager les données entre les différentes administrations, la douane, la marine, la défense, l'administration chargée de la pêche. Donc cette difficulté de partage que nous rencontrons déjà au sein d'un État, il est évident qu'elle est multipliée par le nombre d'États avec lesquels nous coopérons. Donc ces 2 thématiques tellement opposées sont très intéressantes dans le cadre de Panoramed et dans le cadre d'une recherche d'une nouvelle gouvernance, parce que nous avons là les 2 extrêmes. Et si vous me permettez, pour conclure, c'est une aparté qu'on a eue juste avant de monter sur l'estrade, où quelqu'un parmi nous a dit, en voyant la magnifique performance de la robe rouge ce matin, on dit en fait cette performance, enfin cette robe rouge me fait penser à Panoramed. Alors effectivement quelque part il y a un peu de vrai, c'est-à-dire que ce projet Panoramed c'est quand même une lutte un peu quotidienne pour avancer, pour trouver les solutions, pour faire quelque chose. La présentation de ce matin, la pauvre robe rouge, j'ai peut-être pas bien compris toute la signification, mais quand même elle termine sur le sol et écrasée. J'espère que Panoramed ça ne sera pas le cas et nous sommes très positifs. Nous pensons que nous allons aboutir à quelque chose et trouver une solution à la gouvernance.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that. And it was a beautiful performance. So I think we might have 1 or 2 questions from Slido, actually, maybe some comments. This is only a short session now, so I'm not sure we'll really get to answer them. But I think it'll be a good idea if we can maybe just get a sense of, oh, bad internet connection, well, that's not good. So we'll just read out the questions because we have a short enough time here. Are horizontal projects more than a sophisticated jargon, capitalization, upscaling, transferability, policy impacts, but are some real valuable measures? After 1.5 years, can you better explain how horizontal projects will be able to translate results of modular projects into program objectives? Which tools are used to spread information and facilitate knowledge management among the Panoramed ecosystem, projects, coordinators, etc.? How do we measure capitalization processes? How do we embed ad hoc monitoring frameworks to enhance mutual accountability. There are lots of questions there. I don't know, does one person want to answer? We've an opportunity for one person to answer their favorite question. Well, not the bad internet not the bad internet connection, obviously. Dania, pick one question if you can answer it briefly. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah. So I think, yeah, I could try to answer after 1 year and a half, can you better explain how horizontal projects will be able to translate results of modular projects into program objectives? I think going back to one concrete example, maybe again in the community of biodiversity protection, there's a clear indication that that we cannot limit the protection to few instruments such as protected areas around the Mediterranean. We need to work on a governance system that's making sure that the underpinning biodiversity, so the habitats, the important habitats we have in the Mediterranean are well conserved. And this is clearly something that the policy is asking for, which is improving the network between protected areas. So we think that there is very much of evidence of where these important biodiversity areas are in the Mediterranean. But there is a need to upscale what is really being implemented so far into more of a governance system. So we think that this is a very concrete evidence that needs to be implemented. And we think that if there are possibilities within Panoramed to reinforce the environmental part of their strategy, we think that this could be a very important keystone that could be helping a win-win, I would say, in the Mediterranean. So I think that this is something concrete. There is a need to just not limit the focus into managing specific areas, but to broaden through a governance system into a more, I would say, transnational effort. In our case, we would focus into these ecoregions that are not administrative boundaries, but rather natural boundaries. So in that sense, I think that's a concrete example that needs to be implemented. So we think that also part of the strategic program or strategic, is it, how do you call it in Panoramed, the strategic projects that you have could have a part that is tackling this specific issue.
Okay, on that, we'll leave the discussion. Thank you so much for participating. Ladies and gentlemen, our first panel debate. So thank you very much. Well, this particular session is shorter than some of the other ones will be later on in the day and were yesterday as well. So now I'd like to welcome Patrizio Bianchi, who is the Regional Councillor European Political Development Person, School, University, Research and Work, Emilia-Romagna Region. Yeah, I'm just thinking, that is a long title. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. How are you?
I've shared the stage before with Professor Bianchi and in other regional, I think, conferences and things. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, all of you, for this very kind invitation. Sorry for the delay, but I was lost in the Roman traffic. It's an argument that you know, isn't it? No, let me say just a couple of things about the present situation that we have now at European level. I know, and you know perfectly, that we are rediscussing the budget. And that in the budget, we have to increase on one side the expenses for research, and on the other side, to increase the research for the expenses for external issues. But as Claudio and Vincenti said this morning, we believe in this country that it is absolutely necessary to maintain cohesion policy, And we are also ready to rediscuss cohesion policy, but not to consider that cohesion policy is something that we have to leave to the past. We have to increase the relations among the regions. This is our point. And we feel that the cooperation is the only possible way to increase this capacity of the regions to work together. Now there is an extraordinary necessity to work together. And the Mediterranean side of Europe is surely the most crucial and difficult part of the Union. In this sense, what we are thinking is that it's crucial to consider that the different programs that now are structuring our action in the Mediterranean Sea probably must be more coordinated. More coordinated, the bilateral programs with the Med, with Med, with Adrian, with all the others. But it's clear that we have also to increase our expectation. So that is not only the way to have more efficiency in promoting specific programs. It's clear that we must be efficient. It's clear that we have also to increase the capacity to measure and to evaluate the results. There is a lot of instrument to monitor the results, but we have to obtain results. What is clear for us is that we have also to increase the capacity to design and to realize big projects. Big projects that allow the entire Mediterranean side of Europe to be considered not simply the marginal side of Europe. We know perfectly that in the last 10 years, we had a very deep structural reorganization of the entire economy. And we know also that all the tendencies that we have now that we can call the fourth industrial revolutions are pushing to regenerate a new dynamic between the center and the periphery. And we know perfectly that now there is this capacity to strengthen the new center of Europe, that is a manufacturing center, that is in the core of the system. Because it's clear that after so many years, we move from a dynamic center periphery that it was in the past inside the different countries. Now there is a center in Europe and a large periphery. But we have to avoid to consider that the Mediterranean countries are simply, or the Mediterranean regions are simply the periphery of another center. In this sense, we have also to invest massively in big infrastructure, in particular infrastructure in research, so that we have also to connect the different programs. Also, the new programs that the Commission now is designing for the next horizon, not 2020, but 2030 probably, or 2040, and the cohesion policy. One thing that we are working now, as all of you, is blue growth. Blue growth is a huge problem, is a huge issue, is a huge opportunity for everybody. But we need big projects. And of course, big project means the capacity to work together. The capacity to have a long-run perspective means to have a vision of the role of the Mediterranean Sea, but also of the quality of Mediterranean Sea for the next Europe. The other issue that we are treating now is, of course, quality of life. Quality of life in the cities. It's not enough to use the objective smart for everything. Also, the era of smart everything is gone. We have to invent something more. We have to understand what does it mean, smartness, nowadays. The quality of life in the big urban structure became one of the big issues to consider that also the Mediterranean Sea is not a periphery. All these elements, also the quality of life for the people, don't forget also that the people also in the Mediterranean Sea now is a people having different ages. There are a lot of young people, but 1/3 of the people are silver people, are aged people. All these things means a very broad vision. And I feel that in this moment, in the European debate, we do not provide enough emphasis on Mediterranean area. We are still considered a marginal area of Europe. One issue that is fundamental now, if we want to speak on research, on development of ideas, on application, is the entire area that we can call big data. Big data is now the way to manage huge quantity of data. Huge quantity of data is the way also to face blue growth, the new health vision, the smart city, or the city also if they are not smart. Big data is the core of the new system. I feel that is absolutely necessary that the Commission can offer to the southern part of Europe the possibility to have a big center for big data research that is the center for all the countries in the south of Europe. It's crucial. It's not a matter for scientists and technologists. Because what we have to avoid in this moment is to accept a simple play that they are matter for the scientists and the technologists, matter for the politicians, matter for the experts of development, and so on. No, we have to reintegrate the vision. We have to offer a strong vision where the Mediterranean Sea is the real front of the new policy of the Commission. In the Mediterranean Sea, there is the real risk for the peace. We consider that peace is a word that we simply received from the past, is a legacy from the past. The dramatic days that we have in Southeast, in Syria in particular, in remembering that Europe cannot simply a silent spectator, almost an host, when the others are playing the game. I feel that also these very political issues became relevant in this moment. Europe was designed at the end of the last war to generate a period of peace in Europe. And the way to generate peace was development, was the idea to find a joint way for a common development. Now to this development, now we can include other adjectives, inclusive, sustainable. All these words is to become empty if we repeat, if we are not able to fill the boxes with real concepts and proofs. I feel that in this moment, Europe is facing a dramatic moment. It's not only a matter of Brexit. Brexit is just one of the elements. Is this confusion that you find at global level, this idea that we are rediscovering that the possible future has to rediscover the ancient term of nations. I feel that in this moment Europe has to think more deeply about the future. But the future of Europe is based on the capacity of the different territories to work together. For this reason, the territorial cooperation is so important. It's not simply a buffer. It's not simply the buffer that the rich countries in Europe offer to the poor country in Europe. This vision is gone. It's not simply an incentive, but must be one of the central political issues for Europe. If Europe wants to play a real role in the political situation throughout the world, and now the world needs to have a more active Europe in what we can call in the past foreign policy, a policy for peace, of course. I believe that we have to link more these kind of programs, the international policy of Europe, the overall development approach of Europe. We have to work much more on linkages among the different policies. Because anytime that we are going to Brussels, I have this unpleasant idea that I enter in one office and they speak and they say, and they know everything about that specific issue. I'm going to another office and they know everything of their own specific issue. This is not acceptable for us because we are living on the territories, and the territories you don't have simply expert of this or expert of those. We have the people, and the people want a strong role for Europe. But the strong role for Europe is on the territory. Territorial cooperation is one of the real challenges that Europe has for our common future. And the Mediterranean Sea is the core of this common future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor. Nice to see you again. Thank you very much. Now we're going on to our second discussion, and it's called Brainstorming Between Programs. And I'm happy to hand over the moderation of this discussion to Mercedes Acitores, who is a program officer with Interreg.
Thank you, Karen. Good morning, buongiorno, bonjour à tous. It's for me a pleasure to be here in Rome with my MED colleagues and to have the opportunity to moderate this session. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to listen to the latest developments of the MED projects. 90 projects. We were talking and analyzing different topics related to inclusive growth, blue economy, and climate change. This morning, we listened to other projects, the horizontal projects, who made the bridge between these modular projects and Panorama Med, which is the great strategic Med project. So now what we are going to do is to see and to zoom a little bit more. Where are we? We all are talking about the Mediterranean context. We need to cooperate, but the first thing we need to know is that there are other Interreg programs working in the same area, and there are many complementarities and overlaps that we need to find synergies and to find the opportunity to work together. Well, having said this, the first thing we will do is maybe to ask our panelists to come to the floor. I will ask Mr. Vincent Nernou, coordinator of the ENI CBC Med branch office in the Western Mediterranean. Mr. Lodovico Gerardi, coordinator of the Management Authority of Adrian program. Mrs. Isabelle Roger, head of unit of the Interreg Southwest Mediterranean. Mr. Alessandro Samaras, from the head of the Managing Authority of the Balkan Mediterranean. Jean-Marc Venino, Quality Management Officer from the DG Regio, but today he comes with a special mandate also because of Desk Officer of Interreg Europe. And Mr. Curto Cerbelli, head of the Joint Secretariat of Interreg Med. I don't know, do you have, yes, here we have two mics, maybe. So, as we said yesterday, maybe I'm going to sit with you. I feel always more comfortable. Yes, does it work? Yes. Hello. Did you rest? You have a nice sleep? Yes, you're fresh and fine. So yesterday, as we said, we saw what the whole, what the Med program is doing. And I would like today that, what's your reaction? What are you doing in the same kind of topics relating to inclusive growth, blue economy and climate change? Do you have the same perspective? I don't know, maybe Ludovico, I'm asking you the first to answer.
Okay, for the first I would like to say that I believe that we are complementary with MED because our program that have the name of 2 Cs in the reality is not a sea basin program, but is a program in where seas and inlands have the same dimension, have the same importance. And this means that the issues that are developed very well in looking at the sea, looking at the coastline, we have much more the interest to go deeply in the action of the relation between the inland, as I said, and the coast side. This is important because, especially in the southeastern part of Europe, this mixed between seas and very rough mountain are really complex, are really complicated. And this means that we need to have a good relation, but also we need to improve the capacity of the internal territories to stay at the same level of the coastline, in where there are much more developed, much more possibility in tourism, for instance, but also with the connection of the other countries. This is.
About social inclusion, I mean, inclusive growth, are you also funding those projects on that?
Sure. Take in consideration the fact that in the Adrian space, we have problem of the population, problem of very aging, problem of migration. Everybody now have in mind the external refugees and migrants flux. But we have also an inner flux between east and west, but much more south to north. And the majority of the people that that goes to north start from the southeast. And for this reason, we have to study also the problems that the territory has when people goes away, when there are empty spaces. And these are one of the problematics.
I would like to ask now maybe Isabelle Rogier if you are in the same path related to this. Do you have also a basin, a sea basin approach or not, or inclusive growth approach? Well, let's see, Southwest Europe, what's your reaction to this?
Ok, bon, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Donc d'abord, avant de commencer, bon, je parle en français pour les interprètes. Je voudrais remercier le programme MED pour l'invitation qui nous a été faite aujourd'hui de participer à cet événement qui est très important, et je félicite également le travail de mes collègues de secrétariat. Étant aussi à la tête d'un secrétariat, j'imagine tous les efforts et toutes les nuits que vous avez dû penser à cet événement, donc vraiment félicitations, c'est très bien. Donc effectivement, l'Europe du Sud-Ouest, on n'est pas encore en Méditerranée. Donc effectivement, avec le programme MED, nous avons des frontières communes, si je peux m'exprimer ainsi. Donc c'est toute la face, toutes les régions du sud-est français, c'est-à-dire simplement Occitanie, ensuite toutes les communautés autonomes de la Méditerranée espagnole. Nous avons également Gibraltar en commun sur nos deux espaces, et également quelques régions du Portugal au sud. Donc, effectivement, pour moi, ça m'a été très intéressant hier de participer à tout le débat, parce que j'ai vraiment pu voir, même si, effectivement, on prend connaissance de ce que font les collègues, de ce que font les autres programmes, les autres projets, mais on n'a malheureusement pas le temps d'être suffisamment immergé pour savoir un peu ce qui se fait. Donc, pour moi, ça a été très intéressant de voir hier qu'effectivement, nous travaillons sur des thématiques communes, qui sont généralement des thématiques transversales comme le changement climatique d'une part et l'inclusion sociale d'autre part. Mais bien évidemment, vous connaissez tous comment fonctionnent ces programmes, comment nous avons été montés. Il y a eu des diagnostics territoriaux socio-économiques qui ont fait émerger les enjeux et les besoins de ces territoires-là. Et de là ont découlé les politiques que vous devez surtout, vous, porteurs de projets, mettre en place. Donc à partir de là, c'est vrai que j'ai constaté qu'il y avait de grandes similitudes, mais pour l'instant, je sais que lors de nos réunions préalables, tu me demandais si effectivement nous avions eu au sein du Sud-Ouest ou vice-versa, au sein du MED, des projets qui avaient été d'abord développés dans un programme et qui ensuite étaient développés grâce à leurs résultats, s'ils avaient pu se développer sur un autre programme. À ma connaissance, nous avons eu très peu de cas. Donc le programme Interreg Sud-Ouest existe depuis 2002. Et on est à notre 16e année d'existence et à notre 3e génération de programmes. Et à ma connaissance, nous avons eu très très peu de projets qui se soient développés sur les deux territoires. Il y a un projet que nous avons eu dans la programmation précédente, qui est un projet Odyssea. J'ai également été sur le programme MED dans la période 2007-2013, mais nous n'avons malheureusement pas eu à ce jour de projet qui se développe sur les deux territoires. Donc, est-ce que c'est une nécessité, un besoin? Donc, c'est peut-être un thème de débat qu'on pourrait avoir tous ensemble et au cours peut-être de nos différents échanges, vu que nous commençons à nouer des différents échanges, donc ça peut être un point peut-être à discuter. Ensuite, donc, sur ces thématiques transversales. Donc, bien évidemment, je n'ai nommé jusqu'à présent que les deux thématiques, changement climatique d'une part et inclusion sociale d'autre part. Je n'ai pas nommé l'économie bleue, parce que ce n'est pas du tout une thématique qui est abordée par l'espace sud-ouest européen. Comme je disais, nous sommes bordés à l'est de notre territoire par le programme MED, mais à l'ouest également par l'Arc Atlantique, le programme Interreg Atlantique. Donc, malgré que nous soyons entourés de deux mers, de deux espaces maritimes, nous avons fait le choix de travailler exclusivement sur des questions qui concernent l'interland, qui concernent l'intérieur des régions. Donc c'est pour cela que la croissance bleue ne fait pas partie de nos thématiques. En revanche, il se peut que nous ayons des projets qui puissent se présenter sur ces questions-là, mais dans ce cadre-là, nous privilégions, et c'est vraiment une exclusivité, que ce soit des projets de capitalisation croisée. C'est en fait qu'ils traitent à la fois des questions abordées par l'espace atlantique et par l'espace méditerranéen. Nous n'en avons eu qu'un seul jusqu'à présent, un espace dans le programme précédent, le projet Colagune, qui travaillait sur les algues invasives sur les littoraux. Donc jusqu'à présent, c'est tout ce que nous avons eu.
Merci, Isabel. Alessandro, now we heard that these programs, they didn't have a maritime perspective, but I think you, coming from Greece, Balkan Mediterranean, I mean, in your case, it's different. And we also would like to know if you are capitalizing among territories, if you're aware of the fact that some programs from the Balkan Mediterranean or stakeholders are capitalizing results from the MED program, I don't know, or the other way around. Could you...
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I would like to thank my colleagues from the other programs. Yeah, sure. We all share the same sea, after all, Mediterranean, and if not Mediterranean, it's Atlantic, and all the seas are the same. I mean, charming and dangerous and full of sense of liberty. So I think that more or less we are facing and we are working with more or less the same priorities as in MED program. In Balkan Med program, although we are a small program from the point of budget, from the point of view of the budget, we have only 35 million euros available plus technical assistance. We are tackling the three thematic priorities that you mentioned, the inclusive growth. We have already 11 projects. The blue economy, we have 2 projects in Axis 2, which concerns the environment. And regarding climate change, we have 12 projects selected already and being implemented. So more or less, we are cross-cutting with the MED program in those priorities. And this fact didn't come out of blue. It was a certain result of a procedure that took place. It was a result of the public consultation that we had in Balkan and in Southern Eastern Europe, let's say Balkan Peninsula, and in Eastern Mediterranean. it came up that we took into consideration the planning procedure of the other programs like MED, Adrian, where we, as a managing authority of ETC programs in Greece, participated very actively. So all these facts gave us the opportunity to create these synergies and these complementarities, which is absolutely necessary when we are dealing with such a limited budget available. And when you are activated and you try to be active and you try to make a certain, let's say, impact on the sensitive areas such as Southeastern Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean, Professor just mentioned the situation that we are dealing in this part of Europe and this part of the world actually. So yeah, we are working in line with our colleagues with the other programs in an institutional basis and in also an interpersonal basis, because we are having close cooperation in personal level, so we cooperate, we exchange opinions, we exchange practices, and I could say that, yeah, we are in line in many of issues that we are dealing.
It's true that cooperation also starts with the personal cooperation, right? Sometimes it's much easier when you know people. I mean, if not cooperation, it's artificial. So yes, being good colleagues facilitates a good cooperation. I would like to remind you that Slido is on also. So if you want to do any questions to our panelists, please use the Slido. And now we go to the other program that also has the Mediterranean as the sea basin as a strategy, or as a, yeah. So Vincent.
Merci beaucoup Mercedes, et merci encore au programme MED pour avoir invité le programme IEVP CTMET à cette magnifique conférence. Effectivement, nous en tant que cousins du MED et parents plus lointains des autres programmes, évidemment on partage la plupart des clusters, on partage la plupart des thématiques, avec certaines nuances évidemment. Parmi les nuances les plus importantes, on pourrait mentionner par exemple le fait d'un pari beaucoup plus important sur notre programme pour l'inclusion sociale et la lutte contre la pauvreté. Donc ça a vraiment été un challenge important pour le mentionner, et dans le programme qui a vraiment une place très importante, avec notamment environ 17% des fonds du programme qui vont être destinés à la lutte contre la pauvreté. Cela fait de notre programme un programme différent des programmes financés par le FEDER à ce niveau-là. Au niveau du Blue Growth ou de l'économie bleue, c'est un thème qu'on retrouve pas directement mentionné sur notre programme, mais ce sera également un thème important à travers notamment les clusters, le renforcement des clusters de différents sous-thèmes de la croissance bleue, comme par exemple l'aquaculture ou le tourisme durable maritime, ou encore les énergies renouvelables de la mer, les vagues, les courants. Par contre, il faut également mentionner, ça a été dit par un intervenant précédent, effectivement le thème de la surveillance maritime est à prendre avec certaines précautions sur notre programme, parce que ça fait un peu peur. D'ailleurs, si on mentionne ce thème aux pays du Sud, en général, c'est un thème contre lequel ils sont assez réticents. Évidemment, la lutte contre la pollution, ça va, mais si on parle des frontières, c'est beaucoup plus difficile. Donc je ne crois pas que ce sera un thème qui va vraiment être présent dans notre programme. Et enfin, pour terminer, au niveau changement climatique, la grande différence sur notre programme, et c'est très clair parce que c'était vraiment également un autre défi soulevé par tous les pays participants, c'est l'eau, la gestion de l'eau, améliorer l'efficience dans l'utilisation des ressources hydriques, et surtout la gestion innovante de l'eau. Et c'est évident, évidemment c'est logique, puisqu'on sait que notamment le croissant fertile, c'est une des zones les plus sèches du monde. Et donc c'est vraiment un sujet qu'on va retrouver à tous les niveaux. Pour l'instant, on n'a pas encore de projet approuvé. Vous savez qu'on n'est pas le programme le plus rapide, même si on essaie d'accélérer dans la mesure du possible. Mais on aura des projets approuvés donc, vers la fin d'année, et on lancera tout un processus de capitalisation avec les autres programmes, avec les autres initiatives méditerranéennes, et un appel à capitalisation notamment d'ici 1 an et demi, 2 ans.
Okay, because it was my next question. I mean, how are you thinking to capitalize with other programs? No, that's fine. I mean, you just said that, yes, you're open to capitalize with MED or with other programs, no? Yes, okay. And I would like now to Germain Venino, who's here as desk officer of Interreg Europe. Here, this is a different program, a program more related to policy learning platforms. And so could you explain a little bit what is this about and how we could use it and capitalization means, you know?
Yeah, thanks, Mercedes. Thank you very much, FabLab, indeed, for inviting me here today. I'm very glad to be with you to exchange. It's also a kind of fresh air when you come from Commission, you know, listening to those concrete projects as it was so well presented yesterday. So coming back to Interreg Europe, yeah, in fact, I mean, there are two kinds of projects in Interreg Europe. Interreg Europe is a program which has no very specific territorial coverage, as it is a pan-European program concerning the 28 EU member states plus Norway and Switzerland. And referring back to what was said yesterday by Tuja Sergio, saying, well, we would be interested in the Baltic Sea to get some knowledge from what's going on in the Mediterranean Sea on your specific topics, and I'm sure that the other way around would also go for you, knowing a bit more what's going on in the Baltic Sea region, on blue growth, for instance, the kind of things. I mean, this is precisely the kind of service provided by Interreg Europe, because there, of course, you can develop networks of partners, mainly regional authorities, but also private partners. You can also even associate partners all across the world at their own costs for the latter, but anyway, you can also invite them to participate in the exchange of practices and so on. So this is one way in which Interreg Europe can complement your activities by somehow opening your scope of reflection and practice and experience to other partners all across Europe. The second thing is that, of course, well, of course, it's not so obvious, but what we introduced in the current programming period for this Interreg Europe program is that project partners that are benefiting from this program have to build a strong link with their regional or national managing authority, so that what they will get from their project and from the action plan that would be the result of their reflection has also to be somehow echoed into the regional or national mainstream programs. So this is a link which somehow forces regional authorities to have a look at what's going on into this cooperation sphere, and I can assure that this is not a luxury, because we obviously need this. So this is also something that the program offers. The third thing is about what you were referring to initially, which are the policy learning platforms. When we started with the Interreg 4C program, which was the previous program before Interreg Europe, at a certain point we thought, okay, so we are financing different kind of projects which are those networks of different partners on a specific topic, but how can we reflect at program level what's going on in all those different projects? And then we thought maybe we should try to cluster some similar kinds of projects, so that we would like into this kind of what Isabelle was talking about, fertilisation croisée, in the way that all those project beneficiaries would first meet together, because they were in their own individual projects, and they could exchange. And then there was a first step of capitalization, as we say in our jargon, meaning that we were trying to develop kind of knowledge among different partners working on the same topic, and see what each of them could benefit from the other. And then we went into, for the current period, into the policy learning platforms, which is a bit more, well, somehow I saw sophisticated in Slido, in previous Slido. Yes, somehow it's a bit sophisticated. These policy learning platforms, there are 4 of them covering the 4 thematic objectives and the 4 priorities of the program, which are innovation, support to SMEs, low carbon economy, and environmental protection and risk prevention. Low carbon economy, to come to something that is somehow similar to what you develop in MED, a low carbon economy is one aspect of how you can contribute to climate mitigation and adaptation, hopefully mitigation. Innovation, you can also, of course, through that, tackle issues such as blue growth and these kind of things, linked to SMEs. So, to make it short, policy learning platforms are, for each of those thematic objectives, are a way and a place where, virtual or physical, depending on what you organize, where you get experts who help people who are interested in a certain topic corresponding to the thematic objective or to the priority, to get into this knowledge somehow. First, maybe apprenticeship for some of them, or for those who have already kind of expertise to bring into it, to also to bring this expertise to this. And the idea is somehow to make it sure to create a kind of virtuous circle in which you would get first the results of already achieved projects, which already bring some elements of knowledge to those who are also interested in the topic. Then those who are beneficiaries of the projects themselves in the other part of the program could and will in the future feed into the capitalization of those platforms. And the experts can also deliver policy briefs, they can organize webinars, they can organize physical meetings in which you can put together people who want to exchange on the same kind of specific topic and so on and so forth. And this is the kind of things that we are now, it's rather long to put in place because it's not so easy. And we hope that it will be, it starts being operational at this stage, but of course we hope it will get into the cruise speed in a few months.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Also to say that the topics that you're dealing with are those topics that are related to the mainstreaming programs, isn't it? Okay, so in order to also to understand that the main aim is to complement and to find synergies with the mainstream programs. On the other side, Interact, and this is my minute of publicity, it's that we are also having some capitalization networks, 6 of them. The other thematic objectives that Interact Europe is not tackling, and this is climate change. I have a colleague here that afterwards, if you want to talk to some of us, you just come to me and I will introduce him. We have climate change, migration, inclusive growth, which is I am the person responsible, and also transport, knowledge of the seas, and governance. So we are also working in capitalizing the whole Europe in those kind of topics in order to get good results and to show. My next question, the impact that Interreg is having in the policy. So this is my second question that perfectly is linking to yesterday. Mrs. Beatrice Covassi, the representative of the European Commission in Italy, highlighted a little bit the vision of the European Commission until the extent that you could talk about right now, I understand. And she mentioned that of course, the added value of Interreg is not, there's no doubt, but what about the impact? We need to show more impact. And I'm asking you, Jean-Marc, I know that you have a very strong opinion about this. So what programs could do to improve the impact in the territory and in Europe with Interreg results?
Well, again, what we heard yesterday is somehow self-explanatory and self-evident. I mean, and the presence of the people here is also self-explanatory. We have, at European level, a kind of, well, let's come back to what member states are very keen to general discuss, which is about subsidiarity. I mean, first, this is the European legitimacy and subsidiarity that we are trying to express through this cooperation objective of our policy. It will not happen on a natural basis and on a systemic basis everywhere in Europe across borders on transnational areas at interregional level if it was not done at our level. And why do we do it? Because we are just simply building Europe together or trying to build it together. I mean, we are a family of 28 members, even though some of them trying to or want to get divorced. Okay, this is their choice. But I mean, we're trying to build something together, and in a complex system, in a complex society, and as said yesterday, and shown so obviously through all those challenges you're trying to tackle in the MED program, in an interdependent world. We are all interdependent. When you're talking about climate change, it's our individual responsibility. It's the responsibility of the local authorities, of regional authorities, of politicians, of the private sector, of any and each of us. So I mean, this is what we have to tackle together. So the impact, I mean, is simply that we cannot imagine we can provide a satisfactory reply to those crucial challenges, to what somebody was calling climate shock. We cannot do it on our own. We cannot do it at local level on our own. We cannot do it at national level on our own. We have to do it together. And the impact of it will be that if we put together the possible replies, and if we are able to also address in common, understandable terms what we are trying to achieve together, with Mr. Bianchi, what Mr. Bianchi was calling a vision. We need also a vision. We can have the best experts in the world. If they are not supporting a vision, of course, we will not go far. So the impact is there. I mean, this is what we are trying to build. And of course, I could develop on capacity, on governance, whatever. We'll do it in other roundtables, because I'm so lucky to participate in 3 of them today that I will maybe have time to come back to it. But I mean, this is simply the reason why. And there are things that you cannot measure. Yeah, there are things that you cannot put through quantifiable indicators. I mean, the strength of cooperation, the maturity of cooperation, the intensity of what you can do together to have better results is something that you can assess to a certain extent, but then you need to develop theories or stories. You cannot quantify them as if you would say have built 200 kilometers of roads. We're not talking about the same things, but you can be sure that with 2% of our current budget, I think cooperation does a lot. And we can also talk about the added value of the 98% of the rest if you have time to do it.
Thank you. Maybe Alessandro would like to say something. Is it cooperation enough or not? What's your opinion?
I don't know. What is your opinion? I mean, is there by any chance a cooperation enough? No, there are only few that I could add to Jean-Marc's answer. Our approach, living in Balkans and in Eastern, let's say, Mediterranean or Southeastern Europe, is that if anybody is questioning the utility of cooperation and the CBC programs and transnational programs, just come to our area where we live to see the challenges that we are facing. I mean, we all live in Europe, it's our common land, it's our common, let's say, geographic area, but there are certain aspects, certain issues that should be seen from different point of view. From our point of view, from that point of Europe that we live, actually, is more than clear, is more than, let's say, self-evident that cooperation is not enough. Cooperation is always a question. Cooperation is always a goal. Cooperation is something that we gain every day, working day by day in a close, let's say, in a projectized approach with certain aims, under certain procedures. So this is something that you build. You build cooperation, you build trust, and you build your common approach of Europe's idea. So cooperation is never enough for us.
Maybe you would like to say something.
Oui, donc tu nous demandes de l'impact un peu, donc je partage ce qui a été dit par les personnes qui ont parlé avant moi. Donc lorsqu'on a travaillé un peu cette session, tu nous demandais un peu l'impact et à notre sens, comment on peut amplifier l'impact qu'on peut avoir sur nos territoires. Donc, que ce soit chacun des programmes ici représentés, je pense que notre but, c'est de construire le sentiment d'appartenance à l'Union européenne grâce à nos territoires, grâce à nos projets, etc. Donc, à partir de là, moi je parle pour ma propre expérience au sein du Sud-Ouest. Depuis 2002 et jusqu'à aujourd'hui, lors des différents appels à projets, on voit un nombre de crescendo d'entités qui participent aux appels à projets. Donc déjà, cette culture de coopération qui n'était pas aussi évidente au début des initiatives Interreg dans la période de programmation 2000-2006, donc c'était dans les balbutiements, il y avait les professionnels de l'Interreg un peu qui connaissaient ça et qui participaient au projet. Maintenant, de plus en plus, à chaque fois qu'on fait des événements, on le voit ici aussi aujourd'hui, il y a de plus en plus d'entités qui sont intéressées. Donc je pense que l'impact, déjà rien que de ça, mérite d'être relevé. Ensuite, nos projets travaillent sur quoi? C'est ce dont on a parlé hier, l'inclusion sociale. Donc, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Parce qu'on travaille aussi à l'amélioration de la qualité de vie des citoyens. Donc, et je pense que là derrière aussi, pour démontrer, surtout peut-être à la commission ou aux stakeholders, aux personnes qui prennent des décisions, quel est l'impact des programmes Interreg, je pense qu'il y a déjà derrière beaucoup un gros problème de communication. Donc ça, c'est une question qu'on est en train d'aborder avec mes collègues du MED. On va essayer un peu de mettre en place des formations communes pour essayer d'améliorer cette question-là et surtout que l'information concernant les projets arrive aux citoyens. Parce que nous, malheureusement, avec nos projets, nous ne construisons pas des routes, des aéroports, etc. Nous ne construisons pas des choses tangibles, surtout des biens intangibles, et qui amènent à coopérer, à vraiment avoir ce sentiment d'appartenance européenne. Donc ce qui est important aussi pour nous, donc, on étudie ça au Sud-Ouest aussi depuis quelque temps, et là ce qu'on est en train d'essayer de mettre en place, on essaye de recentrer un peu toute notre communication sur l'humain. Parce que c'est très important aussi de démontrer que l'impact, eh bien, comme on travaille sur des politiques territoriales pour la population, l'humain doit être au cœur de nos préoccupations et au cœur de notre diffusion. Donc là, nous avons lancé une nouvelle campagne de communication que l'on a appelée Humans of Sud-Ouest, qui est un peu sur la base, pour ceux qui connaissent, Humans of New York. Donc là, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On prend des témoignages de bénéficiaires directs de projets, c'est-à-dire des utilisateurs d'un produit ou d'un circuit, etc. Donc, par exemple, le premier que nous avons publié la semaine dernière, c'est un projet du programme 2000-2006. Donc, vous voyez, les choses perdurent. Donc, c'est ce qu'il faut montrer aussi, que les projets, une fois qu'ils ont terminé, ben, c'est fini, on n'en parle plus. Non, ça ne marche pas comme ça. Au contraire, nous avons des projets qui produisent de très bons produits, de très bons résultats qui perdurent dans le temps. Donc, c'est ce qu'on essaye de faire émerger, de montrer que vraiment il y a un impact. Donc là, si vous allez sur notre site internet voir cette partie, donc Humans of Sud-Ouest, c'est le témoignage d'un utilisateur. Donc, dans le programme 2006, il y avait un projet Rampal qui était la mise en réseau des sites archéologiques, non pas, pardon, des sites préhistoriques du sud-ouest européen. Donc, grâce au projet Sud-Ouest, ce projet ensuite a eu un effet levier très important, vu qu'ils sont maintenant itinéraires cultuels européens, labellisés par le Conseil de l'Europe. Et donc là, qu'est-ce qu'on a fait? On est allé interroger une personne qui est allée visiter une cueva, une grotte préhistorique à côté de Santander. Et donc cet utilisateur nous a dit qu'effectivement, il était un fervent utilisateur de ce nouveau réseau qui était créé, parce que ça lui permettait d'avoir des informations sur sa passion. Donc, on voit qu'à partir de nos projets, on construit des choses. Et donc, je pense que cet impact-là, il faut vraiment qu'on remette au cœur de nos dispositifs de communication l'humain, la population pour qui nous travaillons tous les jours.
So thank you, Isabel. I got that, okay, the impact of Interreg, it's cooperation as such. We also say that the sense of belonging of the EU project and the quality of the peoples who are living in Europe. I don't know if Ludovico and Vincent, they have other, first maybe Ludovico and then Vincent, and they have other ideas. And I also would ask the audience to use Slido. Maybe you could give us other ideas to show the impact. There are some? Okay, so afterwards we will go to them. Okay, so.
Okay, I start. No, Adrian is a new program, but starting from the first call, some impact are clearly defined. The first impact is that we receive in the first call 378 project proposals, with the involvement on 1,000, if I remember well, and 458 partners. In a really complex area, with 4 European countries and 4 not yet European countries. And this is, from my side, the first impact. There are a lot of involvement, a lot of interest in the local administration, in the territories. Second, I was invited in November last year in a regional conference of Berlin Process. Big intergovernmental program to build roads, pipeline, and so on. I was the first from a local administration invited in this meeting, because a lot of European big programs fly over the territories, no go deeply. And when I tried to explain what are the importance of the network of territories around a big infrastructure, A lot of people look at me surprised, but it is obvious because cross these big infrastructures the territories. But it is not true because these are tunnels, not goes directly in the territories. European territorial cooperation have this impact to go in the territories in a wide area. And it is important because I realize this perspective, at least in Southeast Europe, at least in Adrian space. And this is one of the impact. Other consideration, we are completely devoted, completely we have the same geography of EUSAIR macro-regional strategy. But we are the test place in where these macro-regions start to work. We are the test program. And a lot of experience in looking for something of concrete goes and starts also from our experience. And another impact is to help these strategies to carry on and go in a wider perspective also in the other cohesion fund, because it is not easy to approach the mainstream programs. But using ATC, probably it is possible. This is the second impact. But we are at the beginning of the process. We hope to carry on also in the next programming period in order to better develop this kind of experience.
Thank you, Lodovico. Now, yes, the last input from the side of...
Donc moi, pour commencer, j'ai envie de dire que mettre en doute l'impact de nos programmes, c'est soit de la mauvaise foi, soit de la méconnaissance, parce que à la fin, il y a des projets qui sont là et il y a des impacts tangibles qu'on ne peut pas démentir. Par exemple, sur notre programme, le programme UEV-CT-MED, même si jusqu'à présent on n'a que des projets de première génération, forcément ce n'est pas des projets qu'on peut comparer avec des projets de quatrième génération, mais malgré ça, il y a des groupes, il y a des valeurs ajoutées, des impacts clairement identifiables, il y a des groupes de personnes, de jeunes, de collectifs vulnérables qui ont trouvé un travail grâce à notre programme, il y a des startups qui ont été créées grâce à notre programme, il y a des techniques innovantes qui ont été testées et qui sont toujours en application en matière d'eau. Donc ça, c'est évident qu'en approuvant des bons projets, on a clairement un impact sur la Méditerranée. Je me permettrai aussi de commenter un deuxième point. Ça, c'est propre à notre programme. C'est une valeur ajoutée et un impact un petit peu moins tangible ou beaucoup moins tangible. C'est le fait qu'on soit arrivé ou on arrive à transférer vers le sud notre vision de la coopération territoriale et pourquoi la coopération territoriale est importante. Donc quand on a commencé il y a 7-8 ans et qu'on allait vers le sud lors des journées d'information, qu'on mentionnait des mots comme impact transnational ou impact transfrontalier, surtout les petits partenaires du Sud, ils nous regardaient en nous disant voilà, on ne comprend pas votre langage, c'est évident qu'ils ne savaient pas ce que c'est. Petit à petit, maintenant, disons qu'avant c'était impossible qu'ils le comprennent, maintenant c'est devenu possible, ça reste difficile. Donc c'est toujours quelque chose qu'il faut vraiment expliquer, mais ils commencent à comprendre pourquoi c'est important d'aborder des problèmes méditerranéens et de trouver une solution méditerranéenne. Et pourquoi ça c'est plus intéressant que de le faire uniquement à un niveau local. Et donc ça, je crois que ça va être super important pour les programmes du futur, surtout si on veut avancer vers plus de synergie, vers plus de fusion entre au niveau euro-méditerranéen. Donc ça, c'est vraiment très important à comprendre.
Thank you very much, Vincent. I don't know if Curcio, you would like to add something before, because you were here listening all the speeches.
Oui, good morning, bonjour. Je vais continuer en français. Donc on a peu de temps, tous les collègues ici nous font des signes d'arrêter parce qu'il y a la pause, mais j'ai quand même quelque chose à vous dire. C'est quand même une conférence de mi-parcours. Un petit bilan s'impose et c'est surtout des remerciements qui s'imposent parce que quand il y a 3 ans, on a lancé notre stratégie à nous, programme MED, on avait une diapositive qui a été montrée maintes fois à droite, à gauche, qui ressemblait à une usine à gaz, comme disent très bien les Français, avec des tuyaux qui partaient dans tous les sens. Je pense que l'usine à gaz, elle est là devant moi aujourd'hui, elle est concrète. Elle s'est vue très bien hier. 2007-2013, on avait des projets qui se présentaient les uns après les autres, leurs partenariats, leurs budgets, leurs activités. On n'a pas entendu un seul mot sur un acronyme d'un seul projet ou d'un budget ou d'un organisme. Je pense quand même qu'il y a une évolution énorme dans les temps. Et c'est grâce à vous, c'est grâce aux États membres du programme MED qui nous font confiance depuis de longues années. C'est grâce à l'autorité de gestion, la région Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, qui nous suit et nous appuie. Donc, il faut quand même s'en féliciter, en dépit des réticences, en dépit de quelques facteurs de scepticisme qui s'est montré et qui se montrent encore aujourd'hui. Je vois dans les questions qui apparaissent de temps en temps derrière moi ou devant moi, si je suis de l'autre côté, qui nous accusent, là maintenant, dans le bon sens, de ne pas faire assez de qualité, de ne pas être assez concret, alors qu'en 2010, quand nous avons lancé tout ça, on n'était que sur des réseaux, on n'était que sur du transfert des savoir-faire. Et là maintenant, à juste titre, vous nous reprochez de ne pas faire assez. C'est très bien. Donc vous nous envoyez ça. Là, et je reprendrai pour terminer 2 mots qui sont très importants pour moi, la vision. Donc, dans notre petit, sans doute, nous avons une vision qui est celle du programme MED et la confiance qui est la vôtre, que vous nous l'avez démontré tout le long de ces années, la confiance des États, de toutes les institutions. On a eu quelques soucis administratifs jusqu'ici. Je vous remercie encore parce que vous ne nous avez pas mis en difficulté par rapport au paiement. On est en phase de lancer les paiements, donc je vous confirme que tout cela, c'est en phase d'être réglé. Donc, merci beaucoup pour votre confiance et pour la vision qu'on partage tous ensemble. Merci.
And maybe we could see some questions of Slido, just to finish. Are there any? Wow, there are a few, but we only will answer one. So let's pick the first. Rather than push big projects for big appetites, isn't it better to further develop the articulated multi-level systems like the MED program? Mm-hmm. Who would like to answer this one? Or maybe is there anyone that you could find easier? I don't know. Or could the panelist image, I mean... Okay, I'll choose. I'll choose here. Which do you think? Huh? Okay.
Je vais essayer de répondre d'une façon rapide. Jusqu'ici, nous avons construit les communautés thématiques. À partir d'aujourd'hui, je crois qu'on commence une nouvelle phase, tous ensemble, pour aller vers un transfert de vos résultats, une meilleure capitalisation, une meilleure qualité. Aussi sur la base de ce que la Commission nous proposera dans un mois, ou juste même avant, il faut que désormais nos travaux prennent en compte ce que seront les perspectives du post-2020. Donc ce que vous nous demandez là, bien sûr, on peut l'imaginer au niveau d'un programme, mais vous avez entendu aussi les collègues que je remercie pour avoir participé à cette table ronde. Nous attendons aussi des instructions, nous attendons un cadre financier qui va nous intéresser tous par rapport à nos moyens. Nous attendons aussi de connaître quel sera le positionnement géographique des programmes. Donc, bien sûr que oui, tout ça, on a l'intérêt de continuer, on veut continuer avec les projets horizontaux, et tout ce qui... mais ce n'est pas les projets horizontaux en tant que tels qui comptent, c'est la qualité, c'est l'impact, c'est la capitalisation, c'est les transferts, c'est l'application de nos résultats. Donc c'est ça, et ça, ce n'est pas lié à une typologie de projet. Permettez-moi tout simplement de remercier mon équipe qui a beaucoup travaillé pour cet événement, et de remercier aussi certains collègues qui ne sont plus dans l'équipe, mais qui sont toujours à mon côté, et pour certains d'autres en face de moi, qui ont contribué à cette vision les années précédentes. Merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi. Et congratulations, parce que vraiment, c'est un super effort ce que vous avez fait aujourd'hui et pendant beaucoup des années. Well, so just to finish, coffee break is there, and I really invite you to go to the exhibition side, because there's the Green Growth Community is having another performance, so you can get a coffee and see this performance. I will only like to conclude with one word, that more cooperation and better cooperation is key for the future, isn't it? So I think we all agree on that. Thank you very much, and see you here in half an hour maybe? How long?